This is video number 2 for 18.2. I have a little chart up here that says calculating total interest using a financial calculator. So now we're going to get a quicker way of calculating our interest, and we're using the amortization keys to do that. Now, one thing I just want to point out is I don't ever do this, the part where it says second clear work. It doesn't really matter. You can just put in a number and push enter, and it will switch your P1 or your P2, whichever one that you need to. On this one, it says use the loan for Bob Jones from the previous slide. I hope you left it on your calculator, but if you didn't, you can put that back in. It was $75,000 at, let's see, let's go back to this. If you need to put it back in, it's right here. $75,000 was your principal. The interest rate was 9%, 30 years, so 360 payments. And so you can always get that back on your calculator if you need to, because maybe you didn't even watch this video at the same time. All right, so we're going to calculate total interest. To do that, because it was a 30-year loan, then we're going to put in, remember, do second PV to get to your amortization. Second PV. And it says amort, and so now you're in the amortization. P1 needs to be 1. Don't forget to push your enter key. P2 needs to be 360. And then you're going to scroll. Now, I will tell you this, that when you're scrolling and you first get on to where it says your balance, it will take a second for it to show up, because remember, this is a whole big loan, 360 payments. So just be patient and wait, and then scroll to the interest part. When you scroll to the interest, you'll see that it is $142,248.11. Now, I'm going to compare this to our manual calculation. Take the 603.47 times 360 payments, and then we'll subtract out the original loan amount of $75,000. And we get $142,249.20. And you'll see they're not exactly the same. That's going to happen. And it just has to do with, actually, the last payment of a loan often can be a little bit different. The difference between the two methods is $1.09. We are talking about 360 payments, and our difference is just $1.09. It has to do with rounding. So don't get too stressed out about that. Use the financial calculator when you can, because it's just so quick and nice to do that. Okay, so on this one, we're using a real big amount from what we've done before. Daniel and Jan agreed to pay $540,000 for a 4-bedroom colonial home in Waltham, Massachusetts, with a $50,000 down payment. They have a 30-year mortgage at a fixed rate of 5%. A, how much is their monthly payment? B, after the first payment, what would be the balance of the principal? C, if they keep the home for the full 30 years, how much will they have paid in interest? Now, this is a big loan, right? We have $540,000 that we need for the home. We're going to make a $50,000 down payment, so that's actually going to make a loan of $490,000, which is a lot. Personally, I could not afford this payment. It's 30 years, so that's going to be 360 payments. Our rate is 5%, which is 0.416 repeating. For our interest rate, I'll double check that. 5 divided by 12. The 6 is repeating, so it goes all the way across your screen. Okay, so then you compute the payment, and then you leave this in your TVM keys so we can use the amortization part. The payment is $2,630.43. And then we go to amortization keys. So don't forget, we're going to do second PV to get to amort. And then we'll have P1 and P2. So first on part B, we're looking for how much their balance was after the first payment. So we put in 1. Anytime you're looking at just one payment, you can do this anywhere in the loan. If you want to look at just payment 360, then you would put 360 in for P1 and 360 in for P2. So put those in. Scroll to your balance. Don't forget you have to wait. Well, no, you won't have to wait on this one. It's pretty fast. On the next one you will. And then you find your balance, and it is 489, 411.24. So they paid $500 and some toward their principal on that, and you can scroll and see, because if you go one more, you will see the amount paid for principal, and then of course the interest amount. And so you may want to look at that, and that's perfectly fine. Now let's go to part C. If you keep it for the full 30 years, how much will they pay in interest? So from payment 1 to payment 360. So when you leave the 1 on your P1, go to P2, put 360 and push enter. And then scroll slowly, right? Pause at the balance until it comes up, and then scroll down to your interest amount. And interest for this one is $456, $953, $34. $456,953 in interest, which is a little bit less than how much the loan was in the first place. So almost double, just almost double on that. Wow, that's a lot of interest, right? Okay, so let's look at the next slide. If Daniel and Jan were able to get an interest rate of 3.75% for 30 years, how much interest would they save compared to the mortgage for the 5% interest? Okay, so if you still have that on your calculator, you can put in the new loan. It's still 30 years, but you do have to change your interest amount. Present value is the same. So 3.75 divided by 12 is 0.3125. So that's how much you're charged monthly, right? That's your periodic rate. And then compute your payment. So the payment's going to go down from where we were previously. It's $2,269.27. Okay. So now we're going to use our amort keys again. Second PV to find the total interest at 3.75. We already know the total interest at 5% from the previous slide. You can go back and get that. 456, 953.34. Okay. And then we're going to calculate the interest, or we're going to look at our amortization keys to get the interest on the 3.75% loan. And that would be 326, 935.90. And then if we subtract that amount, the 326,000 from the 456, we get a savings of $130.17.44. And that calculation would be this one subtracting that one, this minus the 3.75. If you do it backwards, you'll get a negative amount. And so that's the only thing, is that you usually want to do that in the proper order. I wrote minus. How about I put an N in there? That would be good. All right, so amortization keys, you can just mess around with them all you want to and look at different scenarios, but it is interesting to note differences in interest rates and how much that can make a difference in your monthly payment and your overall amount of interest. Okay, bye everyone.